Welcome back. You're listening to The Morning Voice. I am Ted Maxwell, and I'm going to jump right in because I think we've only got our next guest for one segment, Congressman Juan Ciscomani, representing CD6. Appreciate you calling in today, Juan.
Of course, Ted. Glad to be talking to you, man. How you been?
Not too bad. How are you doing, and how is your arm and your boy's arm?
Yeah, so I had a scheduled surgery. It's been my elbow for over a year and a half. It needed to be done. We avoided it, try to avoid it because it's a simple surgery but long recovery. But anyway, that was scheduled for Thursday the 14th, and I went to one of his practices. He's playing football at South Point, and I saw him get up kind of weird from a tackle, and I immediately knew something was wrong. So he comes over and he's like, "Daddy, I think I broke my wrist." I'm like, "No!" And so we go to TMC. They took great care of us there, and broken wrist. So both of us in the same week, right hand. We were both right-handed, and both of our right hands were out. So we were two needy boys here.
I can only imagine the Laura and the rest of the family having to pitch in on that one for sure. But it made for some good, social media posts.
So it was. We've been having a good time. Of course, the doctor is like, "Okay, you will be back in about 3 weeks." Talking to my son, and then looks at me like, "You'll be back in about 4 months." So that's the advantage of young bones versus not so much. So.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully, I think you got a lot of your activities. You've had this almost a month off at home, and that gave you the opportunity to go around. And just wanted to give you a chance to talk about some of the stuff you've gone around and talked about, and what's currently important with the message that you want to get back to the region.
Yeah, of course. Well, August is always this is my third August, right? So we're getting more and more strategic about how to spend our time here and how to cover more ground when we're here. That has to do with being in front of media. It has to do with being in front of large audiences, but also just being out and about. And I'm back on the field coaching football again. So, being out there with new parents and new kids, new families, it's everything from that all the way up to hosting events. We held a roundtable to talk about the one big beautiful bill that I know we'll discuss in a second here. But one of several cool ones, I think unique. I toured, just kind of like behind the scenes of QT. It's a growing company, and dealing with a lot of the retail theft that we're seeing all over town, specifically in the Tucson area. So that was a big one. The Tucson International Airport, I mean, there's some investment that needs there. So we saw that, especially in the new runway investment that we were able to secure for them the last Congress. And how is that it's being used on the same day? I went to the Arizona Tech Council, had a meeting with them as well. And then one of the other things was just covering the mining and rock products, right? I have a bill that makes copper a critical mineral, so we talked to them about that piece as well. Pharmacies, healthcare centers as well. Border, which has been a big topic on not only the big beautiful bill, but just always. I led a letter to the director. Just encourage. We had a meeting, so encouraging him to invest the $64 million for border infrastructure here in Arizona. Also, I think you probably saw this, Ted, wrote a letter to the Secretary of the Air Force regarding the investment of a new space mission and how that has the potential to go to Fort Huachuca, which would be huge for national security, but definitely the community there as well. So we did that. Schools, educators, toured the marine operations in Sierra Vista, the CBP Air Marine operations, and like I always do, I went to go speak at one of the naturalization ceremonies as well, with new citizens joining us as citizens. And I love telling them, like, I know what you've gone through. And then they look at me kind of like, well, do you? And I'm like, no, literally 19 years ago.
Yeah.
It'll be my 19th anniversary as a U.S. citizen next month. So I take that very seriously, and I share it with them. So they had a great time. And then I visited JB Steel. I don't know if you've been to that company, but that was the day before my elbow surgery, and shaking hands with how fired up my elbow was so painful. Well, and then nothing fires her up more than go shake hands with a bunch of steel workers. That did it, right before the surgery. So, man, I can go on, but on the roundtable for the One Big Beautiful Bill, I took questions from media for almost half an hour. So it's been great to just be out there talking about it and hearing the feedback from people.
Well, I think it's important. I know you've included some of the comments there about the great big beautiful bill. But I'm going to ask you a question. A mutual friend of ours who's a lifelong Democrat who's proudly voted for you both of the last two elections. They're just little concerned about the vote on the big beautiful bill because they totally understand the need to reduce government spending, even on programs that they support because of the budget deficit. And the troubling part is just the increase in the deficit. And you've spoken many times about your belief that we've got to do something about the deficit. Can you talk about how that kind of played into your decision to support the bill?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you look at first of all, you got to look at the deficit and how we got here, right? This is over decades of misspending by Washington. Just Washington has been having just a spending spree under both parties, Republicans, Democrats, both presidents, Congresses from all over, and the deficit has been going up and up and up. And then you have COVID, then the spending just drastically increases. And so you've had these points that, spending goes way up, but the trajectory of spending has continued to go up this entire time. And then the border situation cost us hundreds of billions of dollars. People that were seeking asylum were getting more money than people getting on Social Security after working 40 years of their life here. So there's a lot of that going on, misspending, throwing money at this thing. Again, right now it's not the moment to point the finger to one side or the other. You know how I feel about this, but we'll just say Washington has been doing that, and they have. So here we are. We run for office saying we got to get this under control. Well, getting under control means we have to cut spending. There's no way around it. We're having a lot of revenue and historic amount of revenue. However, the spending has also been going up. And you're right. I'm an appropriator. So over 90% of the meetings that I take, most of the time people come here because they want to see me and they want something funded or it's about money, right? And you're right, Ted. Everybody agrees that we should cut. Everybody agrees that we should reduce spending. But also everybody finishes up that sentence by saying, but just not my area. Well, when
Absolutely.
It's going to take a while to get out of this hole of the deficit. Spending is fun. And Washington has been having a lot of fun for the last few decades. Cutting and making sure that we have to fit into a budget, that's never the fun part of any household. And it's not let's say, the easiest also or the most comfortable to do here because you have to make decisions that are going to be tough. But we all ran on that agenda of making sure that we do that. So how do we do that? Well, we have to spur and continue to grow the economic growth in the country. And the One Big Beautiful Bill does that. It cuts in different areas of misspending, and it also encourages economic growth through not taxing our workers on their tips or our seniors up to $6,000 on their Social Security. I mean, there's a lot in here. And when I say a lot, it's an understatement. There's a good chunk of things that will spur that. For small businesses, more tax write-offs for them. I mean, the list goes on and what the One Big Beautiful Bill will do. But that's only one piece of it. This is not going to happen with just one piece of legislation. One legislation didn't get us to this deficit. It was a lifestyle of Washington of where this got us. So to get out of this, we're going to have to do this through the One Big Beautiful Bill. There's possibly another reconciliation bill coming through as well that will deal with things that we weren't able to get on the first one. We have the appropriations process that I'm involved in. Every area is getting a reduction in spending, except veterans, Homeland Security, and defense. And then we also have rescission packages that we're looking at in terms of where has money been appropriated in the past that it was just like a stamp of approval with no real accountability, that now we got to look into it and see where the money is going. And if it's not being spent properly, then we got to look at what we can do. So this is going to take an all of the above approach, and it's also going to take a while. We didn't get here in 2 years. So I've been here for 2.5 years, and I've been true to this. And you're right. Some people have been critical of how we're reducing the size of government, but this is what I ran on. This is how this district elected me, and that's what I'm delivering on.
Well, you kind of led into the follow-on question too. When you go back now, what are you going to be stepping into? Does the appropriation process, has it already begun? Are you now looking at already working on next year's bill? What is the next step, and how are you going to continue to deliver for this region?
Yeah, no, great question. So when we go back next week, it's for me at least, it's going to be mainly about the budget. We're still in the middle of the appropriations process. The fiscal year ends on September 30th, so we have to pass something before midnight on September 30th, or else we go into a shutdown. So the shutdown's not ideal. A CR is not ideal. But with the way that the appropriations process has been going, we still have, out of the 12 bills, 3 to do. We already passed 2 out of the House, but we're behind. The House is behind, and the Senate is even further behind. So I don't see this getting done by the deadline. So we're probably going to be looking at a short-term CR to be able to keep the lights on, and then really continue the battle of the budget. There's a lot of discussion on this, just like there is at home, of people, again, some wanting to actually spend more. Others want to cut into programs that are actually necessary at this point. So we have to find the right balance here and pass the right budget out of the House. I don't like CRs, but I like shutdowns even less. So this is where we're heading when we get back. We got 3 weeks to figure that out.
Well, I appreciate that, Congressman. I know what you said there at the end was important. You aren't a fan of CRs, but they're still better than shutdowns. I know you've got to go to another obligation. I appreciate you taking the time with us this morning and answering those questions that we've got. And I always look forward to getting you back. And please take the time, get healed. Don't throw that football for a while. And
no, we won't be doing that. I've become kind of proficient with my left throwing and even writing a little bit. But I would like to talk to you again, Ted, because this weekend I'm hosting a group of bipartisan members. I'm part of the Problem Solvers Caucus, and I'm hosting a group of bipartisan members at the border, so they can see the difference of what has happened, where we are today, the investment's still necessary. So I'll be doing that this weekend. We'd love to talk to you about how that went. Again, Democrats, Republicans coming down to see this from across the country. So I've been a voice of leadership on this issue and been able to convene them here in Arizona. It's important for them to see this border because it's so different than the Texas and the California ones. So anyway, I'd love to talk to you about that next time we chat.
All right, Congressman Juan Ciscomani, thank you for joining us. We'll definitely reach out to your team and get you back on. Hopefully we can grab you for 30 minutes next time and get a little bit more in depth in this, but I appreciate you taking the time with us today. Travel safe and best of luck when you get back to D.C.
You got it, brother. See you.
All right, take care. You're listening to 1030 The Voice, your trusted local news and talk. We'll be back.